Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about The Never Ending End of the World. This is a book by Christy. This is fiction slash supernatural, natural, sci-fi-ish kind of book. I did find the book interesting and intriguing in the sense of how this dystopian type of world is different from any other kind of dystopian books I've read. So in this one, you follow Coco most of the time. And in the beginning, she's like in her 50s and she's talking about leaving her journals so people can read about her life and the experiences like she went through and other people went through, including like her lover and her son and, you know, whatnot. It took me a little bit to be able to imagine what was going on. And I'm not saying the author did a bad job at explaining it. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's just, it's hard to imagine in a sense. So Coco, when this originally happened, she was 12. But when she starts keeping her journals, she's like 15. Or at least that's where you really start the story going, is when she's like 15, 16 years old, somewhere around that time frame. And what happened is there was like a weird glitch in the world, and everybody started on like their own little time loop. So, for example, there could be one person whose time loop has them repeating like the same 20 seconds over again. They don't age, right? They'll just be standing there pouring a cup of coffee, put the coffee jug down, and then after 20 seconds they pour a cup of coffee. It's just like they keep resetting. So there's people who, you know, have 20 seconds. There's people who have like 18-hour long loops. So Coco has to figure out how long people's time loops are, because if you end up interacting or breaking someone's loop, so that lady who's pouring coffee, if you were to touch her, she would physically attack you. Whether she grabs like a skillet, she throws coffee on you, she scratches you. Like, for some reason, once you know, you break their loop or you try to touch people, they go crazy and feral, and then they disappear. So in essence, it's like, if you break somebody's loop, not only do you get attacked, but then they kill you. So Coco knows that she has to be super careful with what she does and every move that she makes. Even noises that you think wouldn't really be noticeable can be very noticeable to what she calls like a looper. So for some reason, if she like breaks a tree branch walking around or kicks a bottle, that could cause, you know, a looper to go crazy, or for them to break their loop and in essence just disappear and die. Now, she lives in Manhattan, so it's really crazy busy. She's been alone for a long time. She's on her way. She's scavenging for food, and you can't eat food that's in someone's loop. So if she goes to a cafe and she eats somebody's food that just arrived for them, like, once that loop is over, that food literally disappears from her stomach. So then she's virtually just starving. So you have to keep an eye out for signs. Like, does this food have dust on it? Like the canned food. If it has dust on it, you know it's not a part of a loop, so you can eat that. Now, it goes through many different phases or stages. So you have Coco when she's 15 years old, and then you have Coco, you know, like when she's like 21 or 22, and then like 27. So you go through different parts of her life throughout the story. And then you also have Forrest, who Coco ends up meeting later on, and he is, obviously he's not a looper, he's just like a normal person, but you get part of his perspective too. So it kind of talks a little bit about like his past, what happened to his family, the politics that are going on, because originally Coco thinks she's alone. She, like, for years she thinks she's the only one alive in like all this craziness that's going on, until she meets somebody else. So she meets several different people, and she does get to the point where she's able to like join a community, and she's able, you know, she's, because you know that she falls in love, or she has a baby, because that's the first chapter, so I'm not giving anything away, okay? So this story, you're following Coco, you follow Forrest's point of view too, but this story kind of also goes into the, you know, should we be killing loopers because they're not really present anymore, and like we need farmlands, or we need, you know, gas from this gas station, so should we break the loops and so killing the loopers to better take care of the people who are in the here and now, or should we like leave them alone and kind of do our own thing? How long is this looping thing gonna go on? So I did find it interesting for a dystopian, because I haven't read any kind of dystopian like this before. Aside from that, some of it was just like over my head, and I'm not afraid to say that. I know I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. I'm not the shiny yellow, right? Like, I'm not dumb, to say the least, but the stuff that it was talking about, like the space-time continuums and just like all that stuff, kind of reminded me of like the professor from like Futurama, when he tries to explain certain things, and I'm just like, what? Like, I'm a fry. I'm like, what? So I do think that I don't want to say like there's a niche, that there's like certain people who would like it, but I do think there are people who would like it way more than me, just because some of the stuff was just like so over my head that I got lost in the abyss of quantum physics and time. But in general, I thought it was a good book, and I would recommend it to somebody if they were kind of looking for a unique dystopian type of read. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.